This is my 2017 Volvo S60 and it's perhaps one of the best cars that I've ever owned. Now if you're like me, you probably own a P3 Volvo of this model year or this facelift, and similar to many other modern cars, a lot of the features on this car are software locked, meaning that it requires no additional hardware to get them working, but yet the only way to get it working is by going to a dealership and paying a handsome fee. Now, as you can see from snow on my car, I live in a really cold climate, and one of the things that I wanted to do to my car was add remote start. Now the thing about remote start in these models is that it's actually enabled by default in the car using the remote that you get straight from the factory. Now the only thing that's causing me to not have remote start is the fact that it's software controlled. And this just isn't an issue for remote start. There are many other custom features on this car that you could get by taking it to a dealership and having them plug a computer into it. So I devised a plan. How could I get remote start in my car, not spend a lot of money, and avoid going to the dealership altogether? Well, this video is going to explain exactly that. This is going to explain how to jailbreak and find the CEM, computer engine management code, for your Volvo. Use a tool called P3Tool to get access to all the features locked behind software, and then maybe delve a little bit onto how you can tune or retrofit older Volvos to have modern features like Sensus Connect, TFT display, and maybe an additional blind spot monitoring system or two. Let's get into it. Okay. For this project, there are three main things that you're going to need. A laptop, preferably a Windows laptop with a good battery and good processing speed. You see, when we're cracking the code, we want to make sure that we have as much processing power as humanly possible. All of the decoding is done by your laptop. Having a cheap 2008 netbook will get the job done, but remember, the weaker the laptop, the longer the amount of time it takes for you to crack the CEM. And number two, a Mongoose JLR cable. Now what this looks like is a basic OBD2 cable, but really what's inside of it is a special Amtel processor that would allow our car and computer to interface with each other, and more importantly, do the processing on the chip and then give that information to our computer. Now there's a lot of these running around, and especially if you're in the Volvo community, you might be a little bit confused as to which one to buy. I'll put a link down in the comment section below for the one that I bought for here in the US, but if you're in the EU, there are also a lot of reputable sellers that you can buy this from. Another thing you want to make sure of is that you don't buy a cheap AliExpress one, because a lot of them might look the same and they may say Mongoose, but the inside internals are not the same. You want to make sure that it has that Amtel processing chip on the inside. Now for those of you with a little bit more cash to burn who are probably thinking about tuning later on down the line, you might want to go and pick up a DICE tool. Basically what DICE was Volvo's diagnostic tool that they use at dealerships to decode the computers in their P3 and P2 car platform. Now the main thing about these DICE computers is that they're rather expensive and really hard to get their hands on. So there've been a lot of Chinese fakes that have been popping up all over the internet in the last couple of years, but nobody really can verify if they're legitimate or not. That's why I chose to go with this, because I know that the Mongoose JLR is designed to work on multiple cars, including any other Ford vehicle or Jaguar Land Rover vehicle. And so I would say just go with this. If you don't need a DICE tool, do not spend the extra money, and especially make sure to do your research lest you get burned. And the third thing that you're going to need is to have a battery tender. Now while your car is running for a long period of time, the computers and the lights will be on. This can cause your battery to drain prematurely and leave you with a dead car in the middle of the process. You, under no circumstances, want to let your car die at any point during the circumstance, because you can brick your car, and that will require you to take it all the way to a dealer on a tow truck and then have them maybe try to reprogram your CEM to get your computer engine module back and running. Make sure you have a reliable, consistent form of power to your laptop and to your car battery, and make sure that if you are going to run the code, that you do it in a way that you can either let it run all the way through or be prepared to stop at any given moment so that you can resume it and continue it from a later point in time. Next, let's talk software. There are two major tools that you can use to accomplish what we're going to do today. You can use P3Tool, a tool specifically designed for P3 platform Volvo cars. It's rather bare bones, produced by a small team of people, but gives you access to do a lot of really cool customization things for basically next to free. If you want to do something more professional and you have multiple Volvo cars in your fleet, you might want to be looking at something like VDash. What VDash is a tool that's designed specifically for Volvo fleet vehicles. So if you have multiple Volvo cars in your family and you want to manage it, I highly recommend Going with VDash, it shows you live engine monitoring performance. You can read and reset computer codes, but things will cost money. While I was playing around with this idea and writing the script, I actually ended up using VDash to try to figure out why I had a check engine light going on, and I was able to read the computer codes in full, something that the P3Tool can do as well. However, what made VDash a little bit less utilitarian than the P3Tool was the fact that it wanted to charge me $176 just to get the remote start feature added as a module to my car. If you're willing to go with VDash over P3Tool, $176 might not be a big drop in the bucket for you if you're looking to get other licensing features, and you definitely still be saving money over the dealership. However, for the sake of the tutorial and saving money, we're going to focus specifically on P3Tool, what that entails, and how we can use that tool to get a bunch of extra features added to our Volvo. Now, as you can see here, I have a cheap Harbor Freight battery tender. Now, this is not required for you to have, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make sure to use this so that the battery inside of my car doesn't die. So it's better to be safe than sorry, and if you have one of these on hand, I highly recommend using it just to avoid anything going wrong and interrupting the process. Well, instead of being a Honda owner with a laptop, you get to be a Volvo owner with a laptop, because for this next step, you will need a laptop, preferably the best laptop you have on hand. Now, if you happen to be a Mac owner, I'm sorry to say I think you're out of luck, unfortunately, as this seems to be a Windows-only program. The next thing we want to make sure to grab is this tool right here. This is my Mongoose JLR, link down below in the description. This is not a sponsored post. It's as simple as taking this opposite end with a good USB connection, plugging it into your computer, plugging it into the OBD port. Now, once it's plugged into the OBD2 port, you can go ahead here in the P3Tool, as you can see, and you want to go and click refresh and then connect. So what it'll do is it'll say connected to Mongoose JLR Pro, and then it'll tell you the voltage of your car, your VIN number, and all the other information. Another cool thing you can do while you're in here is that you actually have the ability to read DTCs. So if you can see here, there's a read DTC button. You could go ahead and click that and it will read the code on your car. Now, what I recommend doing is putting your car's ignition on. It will make some noise. I'm not a big fan of it, but you can go ahead and read the codes in it. And so here it'll pop up in green or gray, depending on what modules you have installed in your car or any issues that you're having. So you can see here I have an ACM code, which is not great, but all the other codes are going to come in and they're going to auto-populate one by one. And that's how you're going to be able to find any codes you might have, misfires, engine on codes, tire pressure monitoring light codes, any other major controls or code issues that you might have. This program can read it. So another thing that I want to point out is that it's very, very important for you to make sure that you have your car config backed up. Now, this means that in case anything goes wrong or you need to make a change, you can always go back into the system and reconfigure your car in a way that makes it easy for you to go back and undo any changes. So always have a backup on hand on your computer. The next big thing that we're going to do right now that my car is up to proper voltage, and we're going to go into car P3 car config. And what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a pin search. Now, at this point in time, all the lights on your dash is going to light up, and that's going to be very concerning because you're going to think, well, what if I just brick my car? What's important to mention is that you have the ability to start or stop the pin config at any given point and then resume it. So you don't have to stay here for the full hours that it'll take for you to get the pin off of your car. So that's one of the things I want to know. So here I'm switching to my phone so that you can have a better sight of what's going on. And you can see that it's continuing search from a previous search, and we're operating at approximately 358 keys per second, which is a little bit on the faster side. Most people are saying they're getting 250. Some people are saying that we can get a maximum of 500, but I have a relatively fast computer. So I imagine if you have a faster computer, this might be less of a problem for you. But as it stands now, this is what we have going on. It did have a couple of issues and crashes before, but basically do not panic as long as you have a consistent connection. I actually had to switch USB ports from this USB port here on the side to the USB port here on the right to from a USB 2.0 to a 3.0. I'm not sure if that helped exactly, but right now we do have a stable connection going on right here, and we're going to let this sit for a couple of minutes and we're going to check up on it regularly to see how far things are progressing.
A few moments later.
So after a whopping 9 hours, I finally had a cracked CEM. This might take longer for you, it might take less time, but for me, at this average rate of just over 360 keys per minute, it ended up taking me a whopping 9 hours. Now the only way for us to continue forward is by going over to the P3 website and going to the buy section. Now this entire thing is going to cost us roughly 50 euros or roughly around 57, 58 US dollars. Now, the unfortunate thing is that the only way that this can be paid for is in cryptocurrency. I happen to have a Bitcoin wallet set up with my Cash App account, and I use that to transfer it over. Although you can use Ethereum or Tether if you're more comfortable with that, I just chose what's easiest for me. This does seem a little bit sketchy, but after a short email to the team over at P3Tool, they did confirm that everything was working on my end. And if you want to make sure that your credits went through correctly, you can also see here that there's a 50 credits next to your user info, and so that'll let you know if your credits have properly been imported. So if you want to make sure that your pin works, the only thing you have to do here is click test pin. So we'll enter diagnostic mode, it'll say pin is working, and reset will be sent after a few seconds. So you can see that all the lights on the dash did in fact turn on, and that's how you know that the pin is in fact working. Once the pin is verified to be working, the next thing you want to do is click on read config. So what it's going to do is the same thing. The card's going to enter diagnostics mode and then restart with all the lights coming up on the dash. Once that loads in, you can see a list of car config parameters that we can select and make changes to. It's a relatively long list with everything that you could possibly want to change on your car being in this section, from things like remote start, which we're going to look at, to your cruise control, to your rain sensing wipers, panic alarms, all the way down to your instrument clusters and the way that your doors unlocked. All of those parameters are listed here within the car config. The two ones that we're going to want to look at is number 251, which basically tells the HVAC system to turn on whenever the engine turns on. And the next thing you're going to want to look for is number 77, which basically allows the engine to start using the buttons on our key fob. Then we're going to go ahead and save, write the config, and that's going to rewrite the current configuration that's in the car. You'll see everything on your dashboard light up once again, and then you should have no other problems. While you're in here, another fun thing that you can do is change the launch screen on your car. Normally you get the default Volvo screen, but you also have the option to select different screen skins. I wasn't able to get the Polestar screen working, but I'm sure with some time and some fixing, I could probably get it to work. Once you're done playing with those settings, what you want to do to get your car to test the remote start is to lock the car, press the lock button, and press the light button twice and hold it. You'll notice that the lights will start blinking rapidly, and then you'll hear the car come to life as the engine turns on. After you get this screen, just drive the car around and give it some time, and eventually it'll go away. And there you have it. Your quick and easy guide to getting P3's tools set up and ready for your car. Now, I understand that this is actually a really expensive undertaking, buying the license and spending the 60 or so US dollars along with the connector of choice to get everything set up. However, I highly recommend anyone who's curious on tinkering with their car, especially those with a P3 Volvo, whether it's 2012 or 2017, just like me, to invest in these tools. I think it'll save you a lot of money and a lot of trips to the dealership diagnosing things by yourself, and it also saves you the time and money and having to get new features in your car that you wouldn't have been able to have otherwise. My name is Ray, and thank you guys so much for following along with this tutorial. I hope it was a great help and made some of the information finding and collecting a lot easier for you. Now, if you like this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and a comment down below on what you might want to see me do next. This video did take a lot longer than expected due to some inclement weather and some unforeseen things on my part, but overall, I'm very excited to see what else we could do with the tools that I've shown you how to use today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.